Winter camping can be good. Crisp mornings, cool nights, campfires with some beautiful camp cooked food, but you want to make sure you sleep warm. I'm going to give you a few tips in this video on making sure you get a good night's sleep on a winter's night. Let's get started.
Hit it.
Hey folks, Ben from Snowies today. I'm running through some ideas to help you get a good night of sleep when you're out winter camping so you can enjoy the campfires and cool nights and crisp mornings and still get a nice warm night of sleep. I've got a few things to run through here today, but I want to cover off on a really important one first, and that's these heaters here. Now, these are gas-powered heaters. Use these to warm up before you get into your tent, and then turn them off and leave them outside the tent. The effects of burning an LPG or a propane product inside a tent, or the byproducts that these produce, can put you to sleep forever and you'll never wake up. So not something to use inside a confined space. So warm up before you go to bed and put these aside, don't use them. You can move on to the other products we've got here. Now these are sort of the more technical things that are available nowadays. Traditionally, the indigenous Indian Americans used to dig a hole in the ground and they'd bury the coals in the hole with hot rocks and things, put dirt over the top and then sleep on top of that to create a nice warm bed. I'm not suggesting you do that because I'm not sure what parameters there are around what makes it safe, but if you're willing to give it a go, I guess you can. But failing that, we've got a few things to cover off. 4 elements. Firstly, your own body. The most important thing is to layer up. So use things like thermals, put these layers on. Now, I've got a friend who says 4 o'clock is thermal time. She comes to the campsite and she'll put thermals on at 4 o'clock every day to maintain the warmth in her body while that sun's just going down, to stay warm throughout the night. And they stay on until she gets up the next morning. Further to that, make sure you cover your extremities. So you've got gloves for your fingers and hands. Sleep with the gloves on if you need to. A good quality pair of socks, preferably wool or synthetic, nice and thick to keep your toes warm. And a beanie is really important. I don't know the exact statistics of it. I've always thought it's around about 30% of your body heat is lost through your head. It's probably actually more than that. So putting a beanie on your head is a big step towards making yourself sleep warm. So make sure you put all this stuff on early and you maintain your body warmth. If you're maintaining your body warmth, you're going to go to bed warm. You don't want to get into your sleeping bag feeling cold already, because it's going to be harder to warm your sleeping bag up. It's going to be a long time before you get to sleep. Another thing you can do is make sure you have a high calorie meal not long before you go to bed. That way your metabolism's kicking over and it's keeping you warm. If you have eaten early, the alternative is to have a snack bar like this not long before bed, or even if you wake up cold during the night, have yourself a high calorie energy bar to get the metabolism inside your body kicking over, and that's going to help you warm up from the inside out. And the last thing you can do for your own self, for your body, is if nature calls during the night, just bite the bullet, put something warm on, go and empty your bladder, because your body's exerting energy, keeping that urine warm inside your bladder. You'd rather that energy was expended keeping your body warm. So bite the bullet, get out, empty your bladder, get back into your sleeping bag, and you're going to stay warmer. Okay, number 2 is to make the most of the sleeping bag that you're sleeping in. The best thing you can do to warm up the sleeping bag, if you find it's not already warm enough, is to add a liner to the bag. Now you can get basic cotton or silk liners are probably good for summer. If it's winter camping, look for a fleece liner. This is a bulkier one, or a nice compact one here from Cedar Summit. These are made from a material that will help to warm the bag up. So look for one that claims to increase the warmth of the bag, if that's what you want to do for your winter camping. It's also going to help with looking after your bag and keep it clean. Make sure you use the hood. As we mentioned earlier, you lose at least 30% of your body heat out of your head. So using this hood and cinching this right up close around your face is going to help you to stay warm and retain that warmth in your head. But make sure that when you do this, you're not breathing inside the bag. Breathing inside the bag is going to cause moisture to build up in the bag. A moist environment's a cold environment, so you don't want that moisture to be trapped in there. It's going to make you colder. So make sure you do this hood up around your face, but your nose and your mouth is still breathing into the outside air into the tent. The next thing you can do is use a hot water bottle. So grab a good quality water bottle like the Nalgene one here, or this one's from 360 Degrees. They've got a good seal around the top because you don't want any leakage into the bag. Fill these up with warm water before you go to bed. Put it inside the bag, even put it inside the bag 10 minutes before you get into it to preheat the bag if you like, and that's going to keep you warm. And leave it down by your feet. It's going to help your toes to warm up. Once they're warm, they're going to stay warm. Now you can always use extra blankets on top of your sleeping bag to warm yourself up. Good idea for a synthetic filled bag because it's just adding extra layers of synthetic on top of the synthetic fill in your bag. But if you've got a down bag, just be wary that heavy blankets might crush the down inside the bag, which is reducing the effectiveness of the down's ability to keep you warm. So use a lightweight blanket on top of a down bag, or preferably use a liner inside. Now the next thing, and probably the one thing that catches most people out, is the mat that you're sleeping on when you're camping. Probably, I'd say probably 50%, possibly more of the time we have people say they're sleeping cold and they're sleeping on an air bed during winter. These are cold to sleep on. They're great, affordable options for summer camping, but for winter, they don't insulate at all. You've just got a little layer of PVC on top here and a layer of PVC on the bottom with a big void of air in between. So you've got cold air coming up into the mat this way. Your body heat is being lost down into the mat this way. It's not insulating at all. And even though you've got many layers on top, you're feeling cold because all your body heat is just escaping out underneath you. You can put blankets on top of this to try and warm it up if you like, but it's still not going to keep you as warm as a mat like this one I've got on my left here, which is a foam filled mat. So looking for a mat that has a foam fill or some sort of a synthetic fill in it is going to help trap the warmth that's going down from your body into the mat against your body without it all being lost out into the void of air. It's also insulating from the ground up to keep you warm. Furthermore, if you are really cold or if you want to warm up a mat that's sort of warmish but you want to just add a little bit more to it without spinning the earth, get a closed cell foam mat like this. This is a really dense foam. Lay one of these underneath the mat and this creates almost a thermal barrier between the cold ground and your mat so that you're not losing any warmth to the cold ground underneath for a mat that's not quite as thick as this. For a 10 centimeter mat like this though, you should stay pretty warm. Now, the last thing I want you to consider with sleeping warm is the tent that you're sleeping in. Now, a large tent like this guy here is going to be far harder, or is going to be colder to sleep in than a smaller tent like this one here. You also want to consider whether it's a single or a double wall tent. And I talk about this from a condensation point of view. As you're sleeping inside the tent, you're breathing out warm air and moisture, so you're warming up inside the tent. That moisture needs to escape the tent. If it can't escape, it ends up on the walls of the tent because of the differential between the temperature inside and outside the tent. In a double wall tent environment like this inner layer here is going to stay dry and the moisture or the condensation is going to build up on the fly up here, so you stay warm in your sleeping space. That is not necessarily the case though when it comes to a single skin tent like this one here. Now, this only has this one layer here, so on a cold night, the cold air is here, the warm air is directly on the other side of that, so the moisture builds up on the other side of this fabric here. So it's going to be moisture right inside next to where you're sleeping. The best way to mitigate that is ventilation. So there's strategically placed vents on top here. There's a window at the rear, there's windows on the side, and it sounds counterintuitive to open those up on a cold night, but it's what you need to do to make sure that that hot air and moisture can escape outside the tent and your sleeping area inside stays dry, a little bit cooler, but dry, and you'll be warm inside your sleeping bag. I hope there's some handy tips there to help you sleep warm so you can enjoy camping on a beautiful winter's night. Make sure you use the campfire to warm up before you go to bed. There's nothing like sitting around a campfire, cooking a nice warm damper before you go to bed on a winter's night and wake up and enjoy those cool, crisp, foggy mornings. You can grab all this gear online at snowies.com.au at our lowest prices every day. If you've got any questions, let us know down in the comments below. Subscribe to our channel. We'll send you all of our latest information. We'll check out some other videos like this one down here.